What's up, everybody? I am Travis,
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
and welcome back to another episode of This Freakin' Show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast that is brought to you by CarterComics.com. That's right, guys. CarterComics.com is your one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. They got it all. That's the rhyme, Joe.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah. About a year I've been doing these plugs, and I didn't realize that could have been a spot in the plug.
Yep.
Because people like rhymes. People do enjoy rhymes. I don't understand it. I mean, this just sounds like fancy talk. But, hey, you know. But nothing gets fancier than CarterComics.com. Again, it's your one-stop shop for all your comic needs. They do carry raw and graded comics, but even beyond that, they are stocking up on their Funko collection that's available for sale also on CarterComics.com.
Ooh.
So it's not just about comics. They got Funkos up there, and they got varieties, some wrestling, some Marvels and stuff like that. There's as I would use a big word here, a cornucopia or a plethora, a bountiful amount of Funkos currently available at CarterComics.com. Not only do they have comics currently available on their website, but they also have them available on their 4 different eBay accounts. You can find the links to all those eBay accounts just by scrolling to the bottom of the homepage at CarterComics.com. We got a discount code for you guys. It is FreakNet, FREAKNET. It'll save you 10% on your entire purchase of CarterComics.com. Not just their website, but every eBay. Oh, fucking A. eBay. I almost did it, Joe. I almost made it whole through without fucking it up.
Yep.
I almost made it through. Not only do you get to use our discount code on their website, but you also get to use it on their eBay sites as well. And again, they do have 4 of them, and they're all linked to the homepage at CarterComics.com. So head over to CarterComics.com, sign up, get your profile set up, fill your card up with all their amazing comics. Use the discount code FreakNet, FREAKNET. You'll save 10% on your entire order. And that discount code does work on their eBay accounts as well, whether you win a bid or you win a negotiation or you want to buy it outright. You can save 10% on your order through their eBay accounts just by using FreakNet. That's FREAKNET. Save 10%. CarterComics.com. Do it today. Why the fuck not? It's the holidays. Do it. Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Get it in. That's all I got.
Nice. Hey, speaking of the holidays, you know it's a great way to get away from people and just spend time by yourself? Is to listen to one of the fine audiobooks provided by Audible.com. And a great way to start getting into audiobooks at Audible.com is to go to audibletrial.com/freaknet and sign up for a free 30-day trial. If you sign up right now, it would get you through the holidays, and you'd get a free credit towards your first audiobook purchase. So you could pick something that actually gets you through the whole month without ever having to listen to anybody except for the fantastic vocal talents of whoever's reading to you. So head on over to audibletrial.com/freaknet and sign up for that today. Or, better yet, get a subscription for somebody else. It's a great gift.
That's true. That's the thing.
Buy one for everyone in your family.
Yeah. That's right. It's an amazing gift for anyone, and it won't cost you a dime.
Mm-hmm.
All you do is give them a little card and tell them to go to audibletrial.com/freaknet.
That's right. That's right. Steal their credit card. Put their numbers in.
That too. Yeah, there's no shame in that.
They can cancel it. They got 30 days.
100% accurate, Joe. Guys, I'm unwell in a sense of ill. No relation. I believe I am. I feel like I sound like I feel like I am. Especially going through that plug and everything, I just felt almost like run down halfway through it. Like I took way too much fucking energy into it. Run down in the sense, I guess unwell in the sense of physically feeling sick, not any relation to last week's episode that we did, where I kind of dove into my personal life over the last 5 years as it relates to bad luck, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Solid way to describe it.
Yeah. I had a couple people respond to me about that.
Mm.
Which is always cool. It's always positive. I encourage you guys to always reach out and interact with us if you guys have any comments or questions about any show we do. We do like to hear from our fans, and it shows that you guys are listening. So for those of you who did reach out, I appreciate it. And the thing is, like, how do I describe this? A friend who will remain nameless because I'm not going to, be the bus driver of a conversation we had. They felt that the whole reason I told that story last week was to get some kind of like pity or sympathy for my downfalls over the last few years. And it's funny because that statement they made is proof that they really don't listen to every show, every episode that we do that gets released.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they think that's the first time and the only time I've ever talked about problems in my life, they're severely mistaken. And I don't do it to kind of vent my life just to make myself feel better. I do it for two reasons. One, I feel that it gets people more invested in us as podcasters when they kind of learn more about us. Not the severe personal stuff, but personable enough for it to be relatable to us. I think that helps with people maybe coming back and want to hear more about our lives and our stories and stuff like that. And actually, no, that's it. Just one reason, because I actually consolidated two reasons into one. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could say it's for content, which that'd be the truth. Obviously, we put these shows out for the downloads, for the views and everything. So in a way, me telling stories is for content, but it's not the 100% reason. Right. I want people out there who share the same struggles, no matter how small some people may think they are. They're real. And I know we talked a lot about anxiety, depression, highs and lows in life here on this freaking show. We've done it quite often, especially over the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I feel like a lot of people are going through that, and we're not just talking about it for content. We're talking about it because we relate to that. We're going through it too, just like everybody, I think, for most
Absolutely.
people,
Absolutely. And that's one of the cool things about doing this is, this is the kind of thing like that. This works for me. For those who don't really know too much about me, I do listen to a lot of people's problems and concerns in life, and I have no problem doing that. I love hearing people out because there's not a lot of people out there in the world who have somebody that was willing to listen to them, and I got no problem doing that. There are times in my life where I may come off like cold and callous to people and say like, oh, I don't like anybody. I don't like people. I don't want to hear your problems. Shit like that. And sometimes when I say that, yes, I do mean it. But to certain people in certain situations, I mean it. And what I mean by that is when there's somebody who would come up to me and want to bitch about not affording to be able to like have dinner that night, I sympathize for that. And I understand that that's a major struggle, and I'm willing to hear them out, possibly help them where I can. But when someone comes up to me and bitches at me that they can't, I don't know, go buy brand new boots in Nashville on their fucking week-long trip, I'm sorry, that's not a problem. Right. So don't sit there and bitch to me about your life sucking so bad that while you're going on a trip to fucking Nashville for a week that you don't think you're going to have enough money to buy a pair of fucking boots. That's not a problem I care about, nor
Right.
is worth my fucking time. But if I have somebody come up to me and says, like, man, I didn't get the fucking overtime this week, kids are gonna eat, I'm not sure if I will and shit. That's shit that I'll sit there and I'll listen to, because those are legit, real fucking world problems.
Yeah, I'm like, you need like a loaf of bread or something. I'm happy to spot you.
Yeah. So,
You know.
so if somebody ever tells you that, I'm kind of an asshole or I'm a dick, to certain people in certain situations, yes, I am, because it bugs me when people want to scream, oh, woe is me, because they can't get the right fucking tint on their fucking
Right.
windows of their car right and shit like that.
I'm having trouble paying the mortgage on my second property because the
Yeah.
people who live there aren't paying rent. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's nuts.
find a real job then.
So, yeah, I do like to listen, and this works for me because I listen to a lot of people who really need somebody to listen to. In return, I don't really talk about my fucking problems with people.
Right.
And I kind of,
Take away.
yeah, and I found out that I'm okay doing it this way, because now it's not me sitting down in my mind wasting somebody's fucking time bitching
Yeah, you all
about.
chose to listen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying you guys are the downloads. But it's not like I'm sitting down there, just airing out my bullshit. I could not worry about my shit. I could do it here, tell you people my problems, find some people who may be relatable, see what I did. Maybe it helps them, maybe as long as, again, a lot of it kind of narrowed down to just keep having faith in what you do and faith from above, and everything's going to work itself out. Hopefully that works for people out there. But I don't know. It just, I did like the feedback I got from people. There were the one negative, and I was fine with it too. I'm okay with people having their own opinions. It doesn't really affect me. It's their, I don't know, maybe it's their own worry in life that they have shit going on. They want to fucking reflect onto somebody else, thinking that they know me and that, I do shit for attention or just to be fucking funny or popular or whatever the fuck it is. I don't believe that. I don't think I was ever that way, but I have a perspective of myself that may be different than anyone else. I've never seen myself as the type of person that does things just for a laugh or just to be liked, because I really don't care about being liked or not. They don't. They all
It's a bizarre thing to say about you personally. I don't know. And I'm perfectly willing to say stuff for a laugh or whatever, and that's me. It's how I cope with shit, is by making it funny, to me. But you've never really done that,
Yeah, I mean, I joke around. I'm a funny fucking guy. Anyone will tell you.
Yeah, but it's not for attention. I mean,
No. See, that's the thing, and this is gonna be the self-centeredness in me, my ego-ish, if you will, in me, for me to say this. I don't have to try to get people's attention, because when I'm around, I have people's attention. Right. I don't strive for it. It just fucking happens, and I think it's because in the right situations, I am very extroverted. I prefer my privacy. I can countlessly tell people how I prefer to stay indoors and going outdoors. It's not because I'm afraid of the outdoors. I just like my privacy. I like being left alone. But in the right situations, I have no problem going out there and fucking talking with people, being in a group of fucking people. One-on-one's a little bit fucking weird, especially when going to strangers and shit. I mean, we've seen that at C2E2.
Yeah.
It was very weird going up to just one individual person, but eventually we got the hang of it. Eventually we were able to talk to more people, but I find myself when I'm in a group situation, if I'm surrounded by a bunch of fucking strangers, it's a lot easier for me to fucking talk. But it's it's like that weird saying, like, he demands the room, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it forcibly because I want the attention. It just fucking happens. And I accept that responsibility. I know that I am awesome. I know I'm a great fucking guy. I know people like to be around me. And I also know that in this world, there are people who feel that I act a certain way and I do certain things to just be cool, or because I think it's fucking cool. And honestly, that's not the case. I've been cool.
It says more about the people who are saying that, I think, than about you.
Exactly. And I'll be honest, I haven't been cool in a really long fucking time. But perception is, I guess I really am, because people do seem to like me, and people do continue to listen and tell me, like, hey, cool for you to, share what you shared last week. I actually had one guy, I'll tell you off air who was, but I don't want to say it on there because I don't know if they'd be embarrassed by it or not.
Sure.
But told me that, hey, I was listening to your show, and it's so weird how our lives almost mirror each other.
Mm.
And I felt bad for him because I'm just like, fuck, dude. I didn't like when I went fucking through it. I don't want to know anyone who fucking went through it.
I can literally relate.
But that's why I told the story last week. And it's not about shitting on a company that I felt did me wrong a few times. It's not about shitting on a company. That's why I tried to,
even a guy at a company who did you particularly wrong.
Yeah. That's why I know I slipped up and said some names, but that doesn't really fucking matter that much. But
what are they gonna do? Fire you again?
Sorry. Right. They'll probably just hire me one more time just to fucking let me go and assert that fucking swing that fucking dick just to show that, hey, I have the fucking power. And that's the thing that bugs me the fucking most about everything I talked about last week. It's not being let go in 2017. It's not being let go by other fucking companies after that. It's none of that. It's not even the part of him telling me that, after I do all this for you and this is what you're going to do to me. It's none of that. It's the fact that he literally just wanted to flaunt some kind of fucking power trip and fire me instantaneously when you look at anybody else who put their notice in at that job who was able to work their entire 2 weeks without problems.
Yep.
The fact I was the only person out of everybody, and I know everyone who quit, and they all told me the same thing. Hey, I put my fucking 2 weeks and I can't wait for my last day. Hey, I got 4 more days left. Hey, I got 3 more. Today's the last fucking day. Every single fucking person.
Mm-hmm.
They're 2 weeks in and fucking worked it. And they were there maybe longer than me, maybe shorter than me, maybe the same time as me. But they all worked their 2 weeks. Only one fucking guy was told to get out in that very instant. And in my mind, I kept thinking to myself, I know by law, I know that there is no law that states I have to tell my former employer where I'm going to.
Correct.
Like, I don't have to. In no way.
That's a thing you can do if you wanna.
Yeah, there's no reason for me to have to disclose where I'm going at all. None whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So if I could go back and do it all again, first off, I wouldn't want to go back and do it all again because it was just stupid. If I was able to go back and do it all again, I'd do it for one of two reasons. One, when he told me to get out, I would just leave and not argue because there was no point.
Right.
For me to argue to stay at a job that I'm quitting is stupid. I'm dumb for that one, but whatever. But I would go back and I would not tell him where I was going. I would not tell him because I never named the company. He did ask me if it was a competitor, and I did say yes, and I didn't have to.
Right.
He knew where I was going the moment I said yes. He knew what competitor I was going to go to because there's only one competitor in this industry that's above the company that I was leaving. All the rest of them are tier 3s.
Right.
Tier C, however you want to fucking look at it. So he knew where I was fucking going. But in that moment, if he said, where are you going? And I was honest with him, I'm going to go work for another company. And when he said, is it a competitor? I could have just sat there and said, I don't have to tell you.
Right.
All I'm telling you is that I'm leaving here and going somewhere else. And in that moment, if he decided to do exactly what he did when I did tell him I was going to competitor, in that moment, I would have just said, get a hold of so-and-so who's the head of HR. Get him on the phone, and let's all have a conversation about how I'm putting my 2 weeks in, leaving to go somewhere else, and you're just outright firing me for no reason whatsoever. Because I would love to have seen what that would have been like.
Yeah.
Because I want to know how much leash HR gives this guy. Because from all accounts, it sounds like it's a lot.
Right.
But I would love to have heard how HR would have handled it if he got on the phone and I said, hey, just to let you know, I put my 2 weeks in here with so-and-so. He asked me where I was going. I told him that I was going to another company. He asked me one more time. I told him that I'm going to another company and I don't want to say who. And he outright fired me, and I just want to know why.
Right.
You know, probably at the end, obviously. And that's the thing that sucks too. I don't know he's an at-will fucking company or an at-will fucking state. They get fired for any reason whatsoever. They don't got to give you a reason why. So I guess in that sense, the boss was probably, in his rights to do so.
Sure.
But still, I probably would have made a bigger stink about it. I probably would have made a bigger stink of why it's happening instead of letting me stay.
Right.
Still to the thing. Dumbest. That's always going to be my dumbest fucking thing. Arguing to stay at a company for 2 more weeks that I was fucking leaving.
Yeah. Well, I imagine, knowing you as a dude, I would imagine that you weren't thinking about that guy. You were thinking about the other people who relied on you to do your job.
Everybody else. The people who still work there, who listened to the show and reached out and said, good on you. Awesome. Happy for you and shit like that. And I told him flat out, I'm like, I did not lie when I said I was happy. I did not lie saying that I felt that I was blessed for the job that I got. That the fact that I could get up in the morning and actually, enjoy going to fucking work. That I don't have a fear of getting fired every fucking day when I walk into a job because somebody wants to use fear and scare tactics as a way to employ people and a way to manage people. It's horrifying. It's fucking horrifying.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it's one of those fucking. It's almost like a sense of like even thinking about it now. I'm gone. I'm fucking out. It's like I was in captivity and I escaped, and the bad men are gone for fucking ever. Like I never have to worry about that place ever fucking again. But it's still that weird fucking feeling of nauseousness. Knowing how it's managed, and nobody above him knows it, because the people who
cares,
because the people that work there, some are too afraid to say anything because they can't lose their job,
right?
And other people are just to the point where like I got maybe X amount of years left. What doesn't matter, or so and so is buddy with so and so they're not going to do anything, or so and so doesn't care just as long as there's profit, right? And that's what's terrifying because this company was fucking fantastic 8 years ago, before the fucking devil walked in and took over.
Word,
fucking horrifying, and to this day, as we sit here. December 6th, I put in my 2-week notice almost 2 months ago to the day. Almost. I still feel bad for the people who are fucking stuck there. And he's still selling the same fucking bullshit and the same fucking lies to all of them. Now, congrats to those who are getting paid really fucking well to stay. Good on you guys for making the money. But I honestly believe that by summer, I don't know if that office will still be there. And I feel bad for the people who are still working there.
Yeah.
Just because eventually all this shit's going to catch up with them. And I'm not saying names. I'm not saying who I'm talking about. Because if you know me, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, it's better just not to spread the shit across the fucking world and shit. The company as a whole isn't bad. It's this one office in this one area, ran by this one fucking guy who I have. You know what? I'm gonna do this, Joe, and maybe you could appreciate this. Being in the profession you are, I forgive this guy.
Yeah, all right.
I feel that I've said enough peace about it that I could let it go. It still hurts me that those people are stuck there, but I can let go what he did. I can forgive him for everything he did to me professionally. All all the fucking threats and fear mongering to my fucking job and all shit. I can let all that go and I can forgive him for that because maybe, deep down he's a sad, scared little fucking person who maybe has to act that way.
Yeah.
I just hope that he does better at the company. I don't want the company to fail because I want my friends to continue to be employed.
Right.
But if he doesn't change, that's not going to happen. But I'm going to work on not having that gut-wrenching fucking anger in me anymore for how big of a piece of shit this guy is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Good for you.
Single dads apparently are not what I thought they were.
Okay.
So before I tell you what I think a single dad is, before I tell you what an actual single dad is, and before I get into the argument I had with people about this, hey Joe.
Yeah.
How do you define a single father?
I would define a single father as a man who is raising his kids on his own. He may be divorced from the person who birthed the kids, or maybe he's a widower, or maybe he adopted the kids. But just any single man who's raising kids on his own would be a single dad in my book.
So I must be the only fucking person who disagrees with that.
Okay.
Because in my mind, a single dad is a guy who has a child, but he's not with the mom. He's not married, he's not dating. In my
I don't
mind,
see what the difference is between what you just said and I just said is.
I'm going to give you the example of this.
Okay.
Okay? My definition makes my dad and your dad single dads. In your definition, my dad and your dad were not single dads.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah, well, my dad's not single. He's married to your mom.
I'm talking about before. After your parents got divorced and your dad lived on his own, your definition says that your dad wasn't a single dad.
Correct.
My definition says he was.
Yeah.
And that was the argument
that's
that I had.
interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. I never thought of it like that.
See, that's the argument that I had with Carl, your dad, my stepdad, at work when we were doing some interviews and we were talking about this guy. He was talking about, he was a single dad. And Carl was asking, he's like, well, this is what the job is. This is the, schedule we have. I was like, you're going to be on call for X amount of days a week and everything. And he's like, oh, no, it's fine, because, my daughter, lives with her mom and she comes sees me on these days and weekends and blah, blah, blah. So after he left, Carl was talking and everything. He's like, well, he's not really a single dad and everything. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course he's a single fucking dad. And he's like, well, no, he's not because the kid doesn't live with him. And I'm like, he's a guy who has a child who's not married or in a relationship. He's a single guy who's a dad, single fucking dad. He's like, well, no, a single dad is when a kid lives with him. And a coworker agreed with him. Every coworker agreed with him. And I was blowing my fucking mind. And I looked it up online. And you said it yourself. If it's online, it's got to be real.
Oh, did I say that?
Oh, you said it like a long time ago. I think you quoted Lincoln.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like me.
But
Lincoln.
All I did is I went onto Google and I typed in single dad. And it popped up. And it said an unwed man who's a father, whatever the fuck it was. The very basic of what I said. Carl deep dove into the fucking internet and found the definition that suits him. So I sat there, I looked straight at Carl and I said, so by your definition, before you and my mom got married, you weren't a single dad. And he said no. But in my mind, he was. Because he was present in your life, regardless of the fact if you were living with him or not. In my mind, he was present in your life. He has a responsibility to you in some aspect. He was a father who wasn't married, who wasn't in a relationship, who wasn't with somebody. He was a single guy who was a father to children, single dad.
I can see how that definition would work. I don't know why I disagree with it, but I do in my gut.
That's the thing, Joe. I need you to understand why you disagree with it, because it makes
Yeah.
to me, it makes perfect sense.
No,
And
your argument makes sense.
right,
I don't know why, but I disagree with it.
right.
I think it's because the same thing I would feel about a single mom. If it was just a woman living by herself, not actively raising her kids,
Yeah.
she's not. It's not that she's not a mom. She is a mom, but she's not. She's not a single mom. She's not like living on her own with her kids, which is like to me the difference that matters. I don't know why it matters, but it
But
does.
see, and that's the thing too. Is like because I'm gonna have double check with Carl, but I think by his definition, your mom was a single mom before she got remarried,
Yeah, yeah,
but he wasn't a single dad.
right.
So I guess from Carl's perspective, because I mean, I just get to a point with Carl where Carl just doesn't really justify his fucking answers. He just repeats the same thing over and over. Oh, it's because the kids didn't live with me. I'm not a single dad. My kids didn't live with me. I mean, I saw my kids. I spent time with my kids, but he didn't live with me. It's like, okay, fine, but explain what you think it is. So I think if I had to argue what Carl was trying to say to me was, it's not a single dad because both parents are still involved in the kid's life. I think in that sense, Carl means it's not a single dad. Because in order for somebody to be a single dad, the mom has to be completely gone. Dead, walked out, whatever.
Right.
Then the person comes because he's the sole bearer of the fucking child. But the way it was explained by everyone else, Carl and everyone who backed him, is your mom was a single mom because she was a single parent with kids. My mom would be a single mom because she was a single parent with kids who lived with her. That's with their residence and all that other shit. And my dad and your dad weren't single dads because they only had us a select number of days a week or a month or whatever. And we only stayed there. We never lived there.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't make sense to me because a single dad is a dad who's single.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
I know. I'm just glad I'm blowing your mind here, Joe.
A little bit.
It was mind boggling. I mean, like, because I realized long ago that if I ever have an argument with Carl, I need to not get frustrated by it, because at the end of the day, either I'm just doing it to get his goat,
Right.
or I just want to prove that he's fucking wrong. Either way, I fucking win. I don't care. This one though, I was getting annoyed by. Because in my mind, I know what I was saying made total 100% sense to me. And in his mind, what he was saying was total 100% sense, but it just didn't make sense. But to him, it fucking did.
Right.
But everything he kept saying was like, he's like, well, because I thought I got him when I said, so you weren't a single dad then? And he agreed. I'm like, motherfucker, you were. Like, you absolutely were. Blew my fucking mind. Because then why is... So then so he marries my mom. He's no longer a single dad because he got remarried?
Correct.
What if he married a person who didn't have kids and just had you? No longer a single dad?
Yeah, correct.
You understand how that's not making sense, though?
No, why is that not making sense?
If nothing changes with your relationship to your father, the only thing that changes, so it's just Carl.
Right.
And it's just your mom, and it's you kids, and you guys had the custody agreement you guys had.
Right.
In that situation, Carl's not a single dad.
Right. Correct.
But if he marries, let's say he married, fucking Sue, single Sue, no children Sue, no additional kids
Sure.
Sue, just
Dana. He dated a woman named Dana for a while who had no kids.
So he marries Dana. all of a sudden he's no longer a single dad just because he got married to somebody who has no relation or responsibility to the kids.
Right, but by my way of thinking of it, he was never a single dad. He's remarried.
But now he's no longer a single dad in the aspect of being married.
Right, because he's no longer single.
But he was single before. Just not a single dad.
Yeah, he was technically a single dad before, but also, like, single dad to me, for whatever reason, just means, like, the custodial parent. But unmarried. The unmarried custodial parent.
Which just doesn't make sense to me, John.
I hear you. I'm not sure why it doesn't make sense. I'm not sure. I hear what you're saying, and your argument makes sense to me. I don't know why, but the definition that I've always used, it just doesn't fit.
Is it possible to ask Lady Science this question and see what her answer is? Is she around?
Yeah, let me go ask her. Let me see what she thinks.
Yeah.
Hey, Lady Science. Yeah. We need you to weigh in on something for us. How do you define a single dad? In, I guess, what context she's asking, Travis?
Fucking on. It's her parents are still married, right?
No, they're same as ours, divorced and remarried.
Okay. Who'd she live with growing up?
Her mom.
Was her dad a single dad?
Perfect. So, your parents got divorced. You lived with your mom. Right? Yeah. Your dad, before he met his current wife, when he was not dating anybody, was he a single dad?
Kind of, because he didn't have full custody of us.
It's yes or no. It's gotta be yes or no.
He says it's gotta be yes or no. Okay. You heard her say kind of, I take it?
I heard her say kind of, yeah, but it's got. Gotcha. The thing is, when you say kind of, she's agreeing with both of us.
Right. Well, that's the problem. Is I agree with both of us.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like I want to agree. I just know that I think what it is. I think we're in agreement on what we believe, but looking at two different perspectives.
Right.
Because you're looking at like like you said, the custodial parent.
Right. What were you going to say? Sorry, Maddie.
Because like he's still being a parent.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Just that he doesn't have as much responsibility for us as my mom did.
Right.
Because we were only with them every other weekend.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have to give a yes or a no answer?
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. That he technically was a dad. He was single.
Yeah.
But also, the way that
no, she's agreeing with me, not you.
No, I know. I'm expanding to her.
Okay. It sounds like you're trying to think. Oh yeah, she agrees with me. No, she agrees with Travis.
Yeah, she agrees. You agree with Travis, but also like you're coming from it from the same perspective I have. I think, which is that he is technically a dad who is single, but because he didn't have the custody, like connotatively, single dad means something else than literal single dad. Like the phrase single dad means something other than the two words separately put together, where single is a modifier of dad versus single dad, which is like its own noun.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm saying like this is the crux of the argument that Travis and I are having right now. So thank you for weighing in. I'm gonna.
Is she mind fucked now? Does she look confused? Is she second
Not
guessing
really.
herself now? Okay, gotcha.
No, she's pretty good about once she makes up her mind, she moves
Gotcha.
on.
Okay, so it's a yes.
Yeah, it's a yes. She agrees with you.
And that's the
So
thing.
that's
the thing. It's the same. It's the same argument that me and Carl had, except if it was Carl, it would have been no.
Right.
But that's the thing that, and maybe, and I don't know, like, I mean, because you're saying no, so it's not a divorce thing. I mean, obviously, Carl's, your grandparents, my step grandparents, they never got divorced. They remained married, so it's not a married divorced child fucking idea because you're saying no.
No.
Right. But that's the thing. Like, I
think I figured it out as I was talking to Lady Science there. I feel like the term, the phrase single dad or single mom or single parent is its own, like, it's its own separate noun. Yeah. It's a 2-word noun, whereas you're using it where single is an adjective describing what kind of parent it is.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I think you're more right than I am.
See and here's the thing, based on what you just said, single parent.
Yeah.
When you look at the argument of single parent, you, Carl, absolutely correct. It's the individual parent who has the primary responsibility of the child.
Right.
When I say single dad, it's if I had a child right now and I went on to a date and I had the same visitation rights that you, Maddie, me, we had with our dads.
Right.
I would still go on to that date saying like, "Oh, do you have kids?" Like, yeah, I'm a dad. Yeah. Obviously, I'm on a date. I'm not seeing anyone. Yeah, so I'm a single dad.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm assuming, and I would love to fucking figure this out one day. If I was to go on to a fucking date with somebody, it's like, yeah, I'm a single dad. It's like, oh, well, where's your child? It's like, oh, well, they live with my, their mom, and I see them every other weekend. Though I want that moment. I want her to look at me like, well, you're not really a single fucking dad, right? That's when I fucking ask for the check and move the fuck on. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
I feel like now the other thing is that nowadays I think it's much more common for people to have shared custody than it was when we were growing up. And so I feel like shared custody is another thing. Like I feel like single dad is a lot easier now if you're like, the kids are seeing you 3 or 4 times a week or whatever because you live next door or down the street or whatever.
Oh, okay, let's do that. Okay, let's look at it that way. There's 30 days. Let's say there's 30 days in March.
Yeah.
Mom gets 15 days. You get 15 days. Single dad?
Right. I would think so. I don't know why, but yes.
Okay. Mom has 28 days. Dad has 2 days. Single parent or not? Single dad or not?
And I would say no.
Okay. So how many days in a month does a dad have to have a child where that line has to be drawn between yes and no?
I think it has to be roughly equal. So it could be, I think, anywhere between 13 and 19.
Okay, so 4 weeks in a month. I know guy friends of mine who will get the kid every weekend and on Wednesday. So 3 days a week for 4 weeks, 12 days. Not a single dad.
I don't know. I guess not. Do they have shared custody or is it?
Oh, she bartended on weekends, so she had him during the week. Took him to school. Yeah. He would pick him up on Wednesday after school, have dinner, stay the night, bring him to school on Thursday. She'd pick him up on Thursday, and then he'd have her, have the child over the weekend while she's working.
Ooh, that's a good question. That's very complicated. I don't know. I think maybe it'd be okay to say single dad. I also think, like, if you want to describe yourself as a single dad and you are a dad who happens to be single, I don't have a problem with that. I do want to make that pretty explicitly clear.
Oh, no, absolutely. But I'm not going to take away anyone's, it's like, hey, it's 2023. Define yourself any way you want.
Right, yeah. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, I don't care.
Absolutely. Be a single panda. I don't give a fuck.
Right, yeah.
The thing is like, when do we decide when a word is valid, like single dad?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing, too, is like, it should be to me, that's another thing. That's another thing why it didn't become a yelling match, but it became I guess more of a debate, a dispute.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it's a logical, instantaneous answer. My dad was a single dad, even though I saw him every other weekend and 2 weeks in the summer. Single fucking dad. We saw him like every other holiday. Single fucking dad. You guys saw your dad. I'm assuming it was very similar. It was every other weekend, maybe a couple weeks during the summer.
It was typically every other weekend. Every once in a while, it was a week during the summer, but that was more often after he and your mom got married.
Gotcha.
And then like holidays were weird because my mom did not do a good job of like following what the court was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like adamant about holidays growing up.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't know. It was a little more complicated. And my dad, I think after however many years of marriage to my mother, was tired of fighting with her. And so it was just like not worth fighting about, you know.
I believe that. No, I believe that. I know my parents went through the same thing, and I think I don't even know if my mom really, because like, you ask my mom, she doesn't give a shit about fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So we were always at my dad's for Thanksgiving. That was it. Still, to this day, I'm 33 fucking years old. Still the tradition. Thanksgiving is with dad. I don't know if she just says that just because it's easier just to say it, or if she really means it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, Thanksgiving was always with my dad. Christmas, when we were younger, I want to say we were at my dad's maybe the weekend before Christmas, and then we were with my mom Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then when we grew up, by 16, when I had a car, Christmas morning was at mom's, Christmas evening was at my dad's, shit like that.
Yeah.
They
were supposed to alternate holidays.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is because my mom's family always had Christmas Eve and my dad's family always had Christmas morning, like that became the arrangement for those two holidays.
Gotcha.
Or two celebrations of Christmas. But what my mom would do is instead of having us stay like at a family member's in Chicago so that we would have an easy time getting to grandma's in the morning, she would take us all the way back to Earl Park. So if my dad wanted us, he'd have to drive all the way to Earl Park to come get us. And sometimes it just wasn't worth it. Or sometimes, sometimes you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there was at least one time where he literally made the trip from Oak Forest to Earl Park and back to Oak Forest in under an hour.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. He's the fucking devil behind the wheel.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the guy who taught me to drive.
Max had to run the vehicle twice.
Yeah.
What'd you say, sorry?
That's the guy who taught me to fucking drive.
Yep.
That's the same guy who sits there and tells me, he's like, when you put as many miles on the fucking road as I do, then you can tell me how to drive. And I have to sit there and look at this motherfucker. I'm like, listen, bro, ratio out the mileage based on how many accidents you fucking had, and you tell me who's a better fucking driver.
Right.
Because you could drive 1,000,000 fucking miles, and I could drive 100,000. But when you're in 10 fucking car accidents and I'm in none, who's fucking even here?
Right.
He is a good fucking driver. No, I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't. If there's one thing he does well, is fucking drive.
Right.
That he just doesn't understand the concept of what a fucking single dad is, even though he was one. Blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he just didn't feel like one. Different times, I guess.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Like, it was just weird to me when when people are saying like, that's not what a single dad is. Like, how can you not? And it's exactly how you said it. If you separate the two words and it describes the fucking person, that's what the person is.
Right.
Right? Mailbox. It's a box. You put a mail in it. Fucking mailbox.
Right.
Greyhound. They're gray. They're hounds. Boom. Greyhound.
Right.
Bus driver. They're driving a fucking bus. Boom. Bus driver.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, right. Cartoon Joe. You're cartoony. Your name's Joe. Boom. Cartoon Joe. Single dad. But, I want to open this up to our listeners. If you guys feel a single dad is a person who is the primary care parent of a child and nothing else, please agree with Cartoon Joe. comment Cartoon Joe's right anywhere you listen to this podcast. But if you believe a single dad is a dad who has a child, a guy who has a child who's single, so try to see us right. I want to know. I want to see what we said. Maybe I'll do a poll on Facebook. I think I can do that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I was just saying, I'm glad we turned that into an entire fucking episode.
Yeah, I dig it.
Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
What am I freaking thinking about? Oh boy, I am freaking thinking about. Man, this probably wants to be like pass, but I'm freaking thinking about Assassin's Creed. Honestly, I've been working my way through the Ezio collection because on the PlayStation Network they have it for free right now, or they did when I downloaded it. I don't know if it still is, but I haven't paid for it again, so that's all that matters to me. And I just started Revelations today, the Assassin's Creed Revelation, where it's you're still Ezio, but he's older and he goes to like Constantinople and runs around and stuff. I don't know, it's fun. It's not it's not as fun as like the first Assassin's Creed 2, but I'm having a good time replaying them. I haven't replayed them. I first started playing them I think back in like 2016 or 2017. And I haven't played them since, so it's been about 4 years. So it's nice. It's nice to get back into that world and play that character and re-experience that story.
A
lot of stuff I don't remember.
Which one was the Revolutionary War? Is that 3?
Yeah.
That one's still my favorite. Yeah, that one's still my favorite one. I love the Revolutionary War one. I liked the Black Flag one until you started having more and more fucking boat missions.
Yeah,
those fucking kind of suck. They bugged me. So that was one of the things I kind of liked about with Grand Theft Auto. Like I got Grand Theft Auto 5 and I was playing it and shit. And honestly, like I didn't really care too much. Like I didn't really care about doing the storyline stuff. I really just wanted to like buy the properties and earn money and do all the goofy shit that you can in there. The idea of, going through the story mode and everything, like I knew how it fucking ended anyway. I just wanted to fucking get there. So you can skip certain parts of a mission if you can't complete it. You just don't get like the 100% or whatever. And I don't give a fuck about that. Trophies mean nothing to me in PlayStation.
Nice.
If they had that in Assassin's Creed, I probably would have committed more to Black Flag just because I didn't like the fucking boat. I didn't like the boat fucking missions. Just like in Grand Theft Auto, I didn't like the helicopter and plane fucking missions. Because I just couldn't understand how to fucking fly the shit or sail the boat and stuff. It just gets frustrating.
It took them like one more game to figure out how to make that boat stuff work really well. I thought.
Was it Valhalla?
No, it was Rogue. I think was the next one.
Oh,
Assassin's Creed Rogue or something. Where you start the game as I want to say you start the game as a Templar and then you become an assassin. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember which. But
which is the one where you're like a bad guy?
That might be Rogue. I don't remember. It was the one that was immediately after Black Flag, though.
Well, there was 2 of them that came out at the same time. I think it was Rogue. Was it Rogue and Syndicate?
Maybe. I honestly don't remember. I played them. I didn't get current until like Origins.
Gotcha. Okay. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was Rogue and Origins.
Maybe Origins is the one that's in Egypt.
Oh, then no, it's not. No. This one is. I think you play different Assassins, but I like Assassin's Creed. They need to make a Civil War one. They need to make a like a First World one, like a New World one. I wouldn't mind a Braveheart one. I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe Attila the Hun. Maybe one out in China would be cool.
Yeah, they have a couple of those like it was like really popular for a little while to do just like story-based games where it was like you would just make a decision or whatever. And so they got one for like Russia and one for China and that are Assassin's Creed that take place on those places. But yeah, it would be fun to actually go play and explore those areas.
Yeah.
Because like that's half the fun is like, my favorite thing, what really captured me at first is that the Assassin's Creed 2 takes place in Florence, And actually, my wife had bought me that game specifically because it takes place in Florence, and so I was able to oh yeah, I used to walk down this road like in real life, and so it was really
That's pretty
cool to
cool.
kind of like re-explore the city, 200, 300 years before I would have ever even been there.
Oh, so how they had the game set up, like that's kind of true to the map of the city?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Oh, that's awesome. That is
Yeah,
really fucking cool.
yeah, it was awesome. So I really enjoyed it. What about you? What are you freaking thinking about this week?
So I've been working for the last couple weeks and trying to get a jump start on a healthier 2023 for me. Cause so next year I wanna dive back into keto. I'm gonna give it the old college try. I want to do the DDP yoga program. I want to start working out and stuff. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a gym or not. I may join a gym, but I think for the time being, I just want to like really try to get this yoga thing done. So instead of just saying January 2nd, I am fucking hitting the ground running and starting everything, I decided to wean myself into this stuff to try to make it almost like the norm. So, I'm meal prepping, even though it's not keto. It's still meal. I'm still meal prepping food.
Nice.
It's just not keto yet, but I want the meal prepping to kind of be a norm for me. And then I'm going to start doing the DDP yoga program in the mornings before work, which means all I got to do is wake up like 45 minutes earlier for work. And it's only 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or sometimes it's Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm starting to wake up like 30 minutes earlier. And then maybe in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go to the actual, waking up an hour earlier and stuff like that. So I want to try to get myself adapted to this stuff. So when January 2nd comes around, I have the knowledge of meal prepping. I have I become adapted to waking up early on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays to do the workouts and stuff. So I'm not
Nice.
like just trying it out. It's like I'm not saying January 2nd, let's start everything at once. And it's like, oh, I don't want to fucking wake up right now. It's like, well, now my body is is learning to wake up early on these days, and
Nice.
making the meal preps and stuff. And I've been not experimenting, but trying different ways to cook fish.
Ooh, very nice.
I have some white fish that I've been putting slap your mama on to give it a little spice, but also just kind of some lemon pepper and stuff too.
Yum.
Because I think I'm going to do a lot of fish and chicken. I do have a lot of steak and a lot of ground beef and stuff because I did purchase a quarter of a cow with Ashley. She got the other quarter, so we bought a half together. So I got a lot of red meat, and I'm obviously going to eat that too. But I also want to start incorporating a lot more chicken, a lot more fish into the diet.
Nice.
So right now I'm having like fish and rice.
Ooh.
But I could kind of keto that up and do fish and cauliflower rice. Or chicken and zoodles and things like that. So it's just
Delicious.
and I got my Fitbit app set up for the steps and the water and all that stuff. And I got my FitPal app set up for macros and net carbs and all that stuff. And
Nice.
I got an app to help me monitor drinking water because I'm not drinking as much water as I should in the day. So I got that set up to track that, even though you can do it on the other apps and everything. Also a fasting app because I am going to go back to the 8/16 fasting.
Oof. Nice.
Yeah. So I just know that I want to do better, and I know every time I keep trying to fucking do it, I just keep failing. And I think the reason I fail is because I'm not preparing myself to do it. I'm just saying like, fuck it, let's do it. It's like I'm not dipping my toe in. I'm just jumping head first in.
Yeah.
And I don't want to crack my head on the bottom of the fucking pool. I want to slowly get myself in there. So
yeah, well, that's what there's one exercise guy I was listening to once who was like, you don't want to start by going to the gym right away because if you do that, you're not the kind of person who goes to the gym. So what you want to do is you want to start by being the kind of person who gets out of bed at the right time, and then you want to move to like the kind of person who gets out of bed and puts their running shoes on. And then you want to be the kind of person who puts the running shoes on and goes out the door. And, you just make all these steps until you're sitting in the parking lot at the gym. And then finally you're actually in the gym every day, or whatever, 3 times a week, whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's the thing.
You build up the habits because that way you actually become the kind of person who has a habit.
Yep. It takes 21 days to create or break a habit.
Yeah.
So I started a little bit around Thanksgiving, so I'm giving myself more than 21 days to get this all kind of figured out and become the norm. And I knew trying to do this shit like around Thanksgiving, Christmas just wasn't going to fucking work.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just no point in it. And I'm saying January 2nd because New Year's Eve and New Year's Day counts as January 1st. So, but
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
yeah. So I got an elliptical from my neighbor who moved away. So that's in my living room right now. So if I can find a way to commit myself to maybe 30 minutes a day, just being on the treadmill, I can watch TV while I'm doing it and everything. Just give myself 30 minutes a day after work just to go on the treadmill and do a little bit. Do my DDP yoga Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and some Sundays. And I also got these 30-day sit-up, squat, plank, and push-up challenges where it increases over 30 days. So that's
nice.
So the plan is to be fucking better. And I think, Joe, I don't know what your plan is for next year as far as dieting or health consciousness or whatever. But I think I'm going to start vlogging my stuff on YouTube again. So
nice.
If you're doing anything and you want to participate, you're more than welcome to. If not, I think I'm just going to do that because I want to try to keep myself accountable again. And I love doing the WordPress. I know a lot of people miss me doing like the journals on WordPress and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I think the video vlogs will be a lot nicer because because I could express more talking than I can typing, and you can get a physical difference appearance of me as I go through. So
right. Nice.
I'm gonna open that up too if you want to do that with me. It's not gonna be like we did before where we're gonna try diets and everything. Just some updated progress. So if I don't, like I said, I don't know what your plan is for next year. If you're going to try, dieting or working out or what your goals are. I know we talked about it before.
Yes. It's on my to-do list, so to speak. I started, since I got the Apple Watch, I started the Apple Fitness stuff.
Nice.
And, I realized how out of shape I've gotten, especially since I got COVID back in the spring and, tried to take it really easy. And lost a lot of fitness. And so even the 10 minutes of yoga for absolute beginners was kicking my ass for a little while there. So yeah, I'm sounds like fun. I really do want to try and get in shape myself. So
gotcha. Well, we'll put that on the list of things to talk about during our board meeting, if you will.
Yeah, perfect.
Because 2023 is going to be all about YouTube content. We're going to try to expand YouTube content. I know I mentioned a few months back that we're going to try to do some Podbean Live once a month for the podcast, and we just haven't done it. So we may look at doing that for next year to get more interactive from our fans and stuff. And maybe look at doing that once a month. So 2023 is going to be a big deal, not only for me as far as weight loss and a better, healthy lifestyle, but also for content out there on YouTube. So you're going to see my face a lot more. So
perfect.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on This Freakin' Show. But it's only for about an hour. And we all know that's not enough Cartoon Joe. So if our listeners need more Cartoon Joe, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Awesome. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, just by searching This Freakin' Show. And, of course, you can find our shows when they are released on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Twitter. God damn it. iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. Thus,
yeah.
Oh, my God, why can't I fucking get this out?
I don't know. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Podbean.
That's not Google Play anymore. It's Google Podcasts.
Oh, it's Google Podcast? I didn't know that.
You can find our shows when they are released on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean just by searching This Freakin' Show. If you do listen to us on iTunes or on Spotify, do us a huge favor. Make sure you subscribe to us and leave a 5-star rating. because those ratings do help us get bumped up in the recommended for you based on categories you listen to. Spotify is becoming the place for podcasts. So if you do listen to us there, make sure you do subscribe to us. You can hit the notification bell and let you know when the shows do get released. It's usually 5 a.m. on either Wednesday or Friday, depending on when we record the show. Yeah. We got one more episode, I think, this year, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quick year.
I'm not sure what we decided, but I think I'm going to keep the season going until 50.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think I decided. I think we're going to end at 50. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you, but our 300th episode will be June 13th.
Nice. No, I don't think you did.
Yeah. So I did the math, figured it out because I'm trying to put together a pretty cool surprise. I do remember telling you I did. I did. I remember texting you 300th episode. Let me know what you want to do.
Gotcha. I believe you. I've been out of it for a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, there
no. Yep, totally. That's it. So I do have I have a plan of something that's going to be kind of fun. Hopefully we can do it. Again, it's in the works, but we got 6 months, so no big rush. So yeah, guys, that's all I got. As always, I am Chastity.
I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of this freaking show. I'm out.